Hey guys, Fhraelaok here, back on the 4.0.1 PTR on Mana Thistle, my Draenei, or female Draenei priest. I'm sitting in Darnassus. I am on my second spec here, and I was looking over the Discipline tree. I remember back in BC, Discipline could be used as kind of a holy PV, or not a holy PvP, but a holy DPS spec. You didn't see a lot of people healing with it, but you saw a little more DPS with it. It looks like they're still trying to bring that back. I just wanted to show a couple of spells, which I think I'll probably end up trying out just to show people what they do. But Evangelism, you have a 100% chance when you Smite, 40% chance when you Mind Flay. I'm sure that'll go up with a couple of spells in it. Well, let's see. No, I guess it doesn't. But what it'll do is if you Smite, it increases your damage done by Smite, basically your holy abilities, holy damaging abilities, and it reduces the mana cost of them. And then if you do it with the Dark Evangelism, which is basically your shadow abilities, it happens because of Mind Flay, it will increase the periodic shadow spell damage by 2%. So basically your 2 shadow dots. And then you can spec into Archangel, which it'll consume that effect. And that's instant. And if you do it from the holy DPS abilities, then it instantly restores 3% of your mana and increases your healing done by 3% for each stack. So that's actually pretty cool. And then Dark Archangel, that's from your Shadow ones. It will restore 5% of your total mana and increase your damage done by Mind Flay, Mind Spike, basically your Shadow DPS abilities, by 4% for each stack. That is also very awesome. The only issue with that is when you're healing, this is basically your DPSing to heal. Although I don't know, maybe people will come up with the holy or a disciplined DPS spec. I most certainly will continue to look through these talents and consider DPSing as disc through a dungeon or something to test it out. If I do so, you'll definitely see a video on it, but for now I am just going to show you the healing abilities. So let me go ahead and finish specking and I will go over that. Hey guys, back. I finished specking. So here's disc. There's one thing majorly that's different about disc healing that I think is probably going to appeal to quite a number of people. I know some say that it's probably not that cool of an ability, but I think it's pretty cool. It's Power Word Barrier. All the way at the bottom, instead of specking Independence, which you get just by choosing that at level 10, you now spec into Power Word Barrier. Now this is basically a big bubble. It's a bubble around where you choose for it to be, not a bubble on a certain person, and it's not a targetable ability. You actually set it out. So what it'll do is it absorbs 7397 damage done to friendly targets within it each time they take damage. So it can't absorb like a 30,000 hit, but it'll absorb a little over 7,000 each time to each player. And while you're in it, you won't be interrupted. Your spellcasting won't be interrupted or pushed back. It lasts for 25 seconds or until it absorbs almost 37,000 damage. So really, a party can take probably a big AoE to themselves and then it's going to be gone. So here's what it looks like. You can actually choose on the ground where you want it. I'm just going to go ahead and put it over me. And there it is. See, it's a big bubble. It's actually pretty cool, and so you have the absorption there, and you resist all pushback while casting spells. Pretty cool. You can still, cast while you're in it and everything, and all that good stuff, And it lasts until you absorb quite a bit of damage, or for 25 seconds. Can I click it off? You can click it off, okay. So that's pretty much how that works. Now there's another one that you spec into to where, I guess I'll show it to you. My apologies on needing to find it again. There we go. When you deal damage with Smite, you instantly heal a nearby low-health friendly party or raid target within 8 yards of the enemy target, equal to 40, 80, 120% of the damage dealt. Which is kind of cool. Again, just like I showed with the Shaman restoring mana, this heals nearby targets. So actually pretty good for healing melee mainly, unless you're all kind of stacked up. So I'll show you a smite on the target. Now if I'm more than 8 yards away, there's a bad view. See, it only does damage. If I'm within 8 yards of it and I do damage to it, see, that edge just healed me for about 1800. So while you're doing damage and you're healing a target, now that's not too bad. Really, I mean, they might find a way of having you be a disc priest that's primarily DPS, but you spec into your abilities, that way you're healing melee, and they might come up with something like that. And I think that's actually a pretty good idea, setting your roles more apart, and having one healer just heal the melee while the other healer gets to heal the rest of the people. I mean, I think that's kind of a cool idea, especially if you can heal melee while doing DPS, or you know, and when your raid isn't taking much damage, then you can DPS, say, as a shaman and get mana back, and it's just really cool how they're changing healers. Other than that, all the abilities are pretty much the same. Pew pew pew. Your main healing ability, your casted healing ability, is still your heal. You know, it's not going to be flash heal anymore, because flash heal is nice, it takes a lot of mana, it is fast, it does a little more healing, but it really is not mana efficient. Heal is, but it is a slower cast. It heals for a fair amount, not really a lot, but it's there. Then greater heal takes the same time, it heals for a lot more, and it does take a lot more mana. Again, you still want to use Prayer of Mending, it's still a good spell. Renew is still a pretty good spell. And Penance is still, of course, a great spell. And you can still do damage with Penance, which is cool. I'm kind of glad they didn't change that. I know they were leaning towards allowing more DPS. So, that's about it for Disc Priests for the healing side. I will respec for Disc DPS and test that out and let you guys know what I think of that. Until next time, look forward to a holy healing spec. Alright, Fhraelaok signing off.